Hello viewers, you are welcome to Child and Society, the program for you that discusses issues that concerns children, concerns our society, and policies that impact on children, young people, and the society in general. We are back from our break, and today we are going to be discussing the impact of modern lifestyle on our young people. And we're going to be looking at how parents are responding to these and what plans our government have put in place to tackle the issues. Are they responding well or are they not? Is there a plan? That's what we are talking about today. Now, with me is...
I'm Mr. Chinedu.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. As you know, Chinedu, in the days of our parents, yes, children's lifestyle was kind of linked to what their parents did. But these days, a lot of children are exposed to more modern gadgets that keep them away from observing what their parents do. So yes, I will be talking to you to look at what you feel about this and how it was also for you, and looking at what's going on in Nigeria in particular, with a lot of children spending more and more time in the cyber cafe or at home with their computers and not doing enough of outdoor work.
Thank you very much. Well, the society today, like we know, have changed broadly. There are a lot of changes now in technology, in our norms, in the way we live our lives, and things like that. So this has affected today's child positively and negatively. So now I'm going to look at the negative side of it. Today, our kids are so occupied with the recent gadgets that, recent technology and all the gadgets that we have around today, that it tends to take them away from the normal activities. Yeah. What we are used to, or we are used to in the old times. So now they're occupied with, the recent trend, recent technologies, like the internet. I'm going to use Facebook. Yes, Facebook, for example, has eating, up the minds of our young ones, and is becoming a thing of concern. Also, we have situation where kids preoccupy their time, preoccupy themselves with things like shopping,
wanting to go shopping,
going out, engaging in all forms of activities that tend to take them away from, the actual thing they are supposed to be doing. These are some of the negatives, and we see a situation where a child can stay all day long in the house watching TV or a movie or something. So this has, deviated their attention from sometimes studying and doing things that would benefit them.
And also the issues around them. When children are spending more and more time doing one-to-one activities, they are not actually exercising themselves.
Exactly.
They are not eating well. They are not usurping the food energy that they've ingested. Yeah. So like going to do some running or playing football or participating in basketballing.
Activities,
and so that their nutritional, they will have a good nutritional balance.
Yes, this is another disadvantage, because if you're not engaged in physical activities, that tends to affect your health. So because our kids these days are not, young people, especially young people like myself, or the young people out there, are not, because they are not engaged in physical activities. This therefore leads to diseases like obesity and high blood pressure. Because when you don't exercise your body, your body becomes weak and it becomes vulnerable. You can likely fall prey to infection and diseases because you don't exercise your body. So that's a disadvantage.
Yeah, and also you know that in Nigeria, I know that a lot of young people are becoming obese.
Yes.
And you know, obesity is linked to diabetes.
Exactly.
And we are now having young people suffering diabetes mellitus.
Yeah.
So, which becomes a public health problem.
Public health concern.
So, when children are inactive in terms of not doing more of indoor activities rather than outdoor activities,
yeah,
they suffer from a lot of these health problems.
Yeah.
Now, how are parents tackling these issues?
Yeah, yeah, there are many ways parents can tackle these issues. One is by orientation, by, you know, reorientating the child, teaching the child, advising the child on certain things they ought to do. Some parents don't do this, and this has affected so many children in many ways because as a parent, if you don't talk to your child, you will not know their weak points, you will not know where they're going wrong. So I think parents should tackle that by advising their children, creating more time to spend with the children.
We also know that children, when they that modern lifestyle have also enabled children to become more independent and challenging to parental authority. And how are we dealing with all those kind of problems? When children are challenging their parents, children are learning a lot via internet. Children are also experiencing bullying via internet.
Via the internet. Well, I think that should be tackled through awareness programs. There should be awareness programs to educate these children on the best way to manage their life. Okay? Yeah, well, fine. You have the freedom to do whatever you want to do. But you should also know the impact and the side effects of what you are about to do.
But so the children, so where is the role of the parents? So the parents, are you saying that the parent, because some parents will buy a lot of gadgets for their children, would rather that their children are linked to, I think I'm getting a caller coming through soon.
Okay.
But let's be talking.
Okay.
As the parents are buying a lot of gadgets for their children, they feel, oh, their children are up and coming.
Yeah.
But the thing is, some of them don't know the impact of this on their children. Because they don't know the impact of it on their children, they need to be that education, as you are saying.
Exactly.
Education so that the parents will become aware that whilst you are trying to ensure your children are living up to expectations, you also need to know that doing more of indoor activity has detrimental
side effects. Yeah.
And also public health education is also needed so that the schools will become aware, and they can also make children aware. To make sure that children are engaged more in outdoor activities.
This is exactly where the government should come in. There should be all these programs in place in schools to educate children, and also programs to educate parents on how to manage their children when they buy these gadgets, toys for their children.
Right. But on the other hand, let's also talk about some of the positive impacts of this thing. Because in my days, I was not exposed to gadgets at all. We read everything by book. We read with candles to read at night and during the day when it's dark. We didn't know anything about anything other than music that we listened to, the old tapes. But these days, the modern children are exposed to gadgets. So they are learning more than their parents. So that's positive, isn't it?
Yes, that's positive. And again, they are able to travel. They have quick and fast access to information, which is good.
Right. That's right.
It equips them very well. And they are exposed to so many things. And also,
they're able to communicate with the world.
They're able to communicate very, very well.
Connect with people.
Yeah.
And some of the connections are not always positive. So that's where parental guidance comes in.
Exactly.
That's where education, both from parents and from schools, comes in place.
Exactly.
That's where the government as well needs to put programs that make young people and parents alike aware of the positives and negatives of some of these modern lifestyles, so that children and parents do not feel overwhelmed by the problems. So, and then deal with the issues that are positive, and gain from the positiveness of
it is indeed.
Now, there are also issues around freedom of choice, which is what, like in the United Kingdom and I would say most of the Western world, as part of modern young lifestyle, young people are expected to participate in decision making that concerns them. Young people are also given choice, are allowed to make choices, which in Africa in my days, we were not given voice, let alone allowed to make decisions. But there are some of the impacts of this decision making. When children are not fully aware and they are thrown
into this decision.
Can you tell me a little bit about
it? Exactly. Yes, they have the right to do whatever they like. They have the right to choice and the rest of them. But the thing is, they fail to balance it with the negative impact that comes with some of these decisions that they make.
That's right.
Take. Especially the health side effect, the health impact.
So this means that parents need to be aware.
A child who decides to smoke, drink, may not know the disadvantage of doing things like that. Okay, so this is where the government should come in. This is where parents should come in.
So parental education, government education, educating people via the schools,
via programs,
community
seminars, symposiums. Yes, all of this should be open, should be organized to teach the child, to let them know, create awareness that these habits. We cannot stop you from what you're about to do, but look at this are the side effects. Don't overdo it.
That's right.
You should have a limit to.
So we're talking about midway,
exactly.
Midway parenting, where don't stop it, but make sure.
Of course, you can't stop it.
You
can't stop it, because if you stop it, you make the child go crazy. So the best thing to do is to let the child know the dangers of doing whatever they're doing.
If you try to stop it, the child rebels. If the child rebels, you lose the child.
You may lose the child.
And you don't want to lose the child.
You don't want to lose the
child.
So
you want to be a parent who is balancing.
You should be able to balance it.
Wonderful.
The parents alone cannot do it. The government should also help.
Good.
It should be a joint venture between the parents and the government.
Okay. Right. Also, we are also talking about the same freedom of choice. Around freedom of choice, young people make choices to start seeing an opposite sex member, to have boyfriend, to have girlfriend. Sometimes they are not able to discuss it with their parents. And sometimes parents do not even expect that their children, don't even believe that their children are already engaging in sexual activities. So what do you understand about the implications of that? And what should parents be doing?
Yes, I think parents, I've said it before, parents should be close to their children. Because once you're close to your child, you'll be able to anticipate your child's next move. So I think parents should be close to their children to cover that gap, to close that gap. Okay, if your child is already engaging in sexual activities, you will know if you're close to them, and you'll be able to advise the child.
So what you are saying now is that parents need to be close to their children, and do not think that discussion around sex should be a taboo.
Should be a taboo,
It should be discussed because their children are engaged in it, and also as impact of modern lifestyle, they are already seeing this in internet,
on the internet,
and discussing it with their friends,
in movies, So for me, I think advice should be the best point of. This should be the best thing to do for parents.
So now we know that in our country, we are doing, most African countries, like our country, Nigeria, they are doing their best. But are we really planning effectively with regards to the impact of this freedom that our children are exposed to? Are we really planning well for it? Do we have good enough public health education? We need to be having one that will tackle these things like sexual education in schools.
In schools.
Give the idea of use of condom, contraceptives. We need to not really deprive our children from knowing this, because they already know, because they have access to internet.
Yeah, they do.
What they need is sex education, public health education in a safer way.
Yes. Yeah, I think Nigeria is a developing country. Okay, like you can't compare Nigeria to the UK and some other advanced countries, but we are getting there. I see some NGOs springing up in Nigeria, and it gives me so much joy. So we are coming up, we are getting there. But another wonderful thing about the African culture is the ability to spare the rod and spoil the child. Ability not to spare the rod, or you spoil the child. Okay, the children get whipped when they go contrary to what they expected, what is expected of them, and things like that. But
Can I stop you there? Yeah. Can you just come again? Because in the United Kingdom, and in my profession, the last thing we want to hear is that we, as the parents, are allowed to use a whip on their children. Children are not to be whipped. Children are not to be abused. Children are yours to look after, yours to care for, yours to speak to. There is nothing I do not advocate. And in fact, we do not, in my profession, advocate that a child should be punished unnecessarily. You can withhold certain things from your child as a way of punishment. But even before that, the expectation is that you explain to a child. It's called communication. There is nothing like what I've just heard you say. So I would like you to address that, please.
I grew up in Nigeria, okay, and while we were growing up, it was part of our training, and I would say it kind of molded us, and it kind of put us on track, because when we go off track, our parents would, not like they will molest us or something, they will get, whipped or something, but that's over, they don't.
Right, that's not modern parenting.
It's not modern parenting, but it helped to shape. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not encouraging it, but I would say for my person and for my siblings and people around me, it shaped our lives.
Well, I know that I also came from a background where they used to use the cane to give you a warning, and if you don't if you don't listen, they actually whip you. On my skin here, I have a mark in my life. This is a mark. I cannot forget this mark. And on that day, I was whipped for no reason. I was whipped for no reason, and I think it's wrong for parents to use whip. We are not animals. We are your children. So you should not whip your children. You should talk to your child. If your child is really, really getting out of hand, try to find out what is the problem with that child. It could be either food, it could be either the child hormonal, it could be a lot of things. And children are not stupid. What you need to do is call your child into a room and sit with your child and say, what is the matter with you? I have noticed that you are crying. I've noticed that you are moody. Is there anything I can help you with? But I think some parents quickly go, whoops, and it's wrong. The day I was hit here, I didn't do anything. I went out with my little brother, and as I was coming back, I saw my friend's brother, and we only say hello. And that was it. And all I was whipped for was that I was talking with a boy. That is wrong. I think it's wrong. That scar is with me till today. And I'm asking you parents over there, if you are used to hitting your children, please desist from it and speak to them. No matter what your child has done, speak to your child. A child who is whipped all their life, when they become parents, the tendency is that is the strategy they know. That strategy is to whip their children instead of talk to your child. Communicate with your child. Ascertain what problems your child is going through. Do not hit. Talk to your child. You can deprive your child from maybe playing with his computer game today, or they're going out to an auntie or a friend's house that you would normally allow, they do not eat. And one thing that I have seen in my practice is that some parents deny their children access to food because they, as a punishment. Don't deny your child access to food as punishment, because that is the worst punishment you can give a child, to deny food. Which sort of parent deny food?
Yeah, it's not to be encouraged. I agree with you totally. It's not to be encouraged. But in a way, if I look at my own situation, it helped to shape me. So it has helped to shape some other children also. And also, it has tarnished or destroyed the life of other children, because, you know, they became renegades due to the fact that they were flogged and the rest of them. So it's not to be encouraged.
All right. Viewers, as you know, we are looking at modern lifestyle, then the impacts or the threats that it has on our young people, on our society. As you know, what we're advocating here is that whilst our children are exposed to modern gadgets, are exposed to modern lifestyles, are exposed to the idea of challenging authority, we are also saying that our parents should be equally aware of the implications of this, so that they will know how to manage situations as they arise. We are also saying that our government should have a good health promotional programs that are targeted to educating and making children aware of the implications of some of this modern lifestyle that is having on our children. The issue of responsibilities, children need to be taught and to know about responsibility. Children need to know about the impacts of cyber cafe on themselves. The bullying aspects of it. Children need to know about the impact of sitting in one place and, you know, just playing DS and all those games. They need to know that. Children also need to become aware that whilst they have freedom of choice to make certain decisions, that they need to equally be aware that there are implications with regards to the decisions they make in terms of sexual diseases and in terms of smoking and drinking and the drugs that goes with it. People need to be aware of that. The nutritional impact of just sitting down in one place and guffing food means that you're likely to suffer from diabetes. Viewers, we are coming to the end of this program now, and we thank you very much for watching Child and Society, the program for you that discusses about you, your family, your children, and policies that impact on your children and yourselves. We are so grateful to you because you've been watching our program for for some time now. We are calling upon you to tune in every time, the same venue, the same time, the same TV station. We are calling upon you. And parents, please, do not smack your children. Do not be anti your children. Give them love, give them responsibility, and guide them as they grow. Thank you very much, viewers. And with me, again,
Chinedu Ibokwe, I'll say advice is the best alternative to tackling our children. Parents, get close to your children, advise them. Advise them is always the way out. Is the way out.
Finally, modern lifestyle is positive as well as negative. What we're talking about is striking a balance. Thank you.